dynamics in Nigeria, that Nnamdi is expected that is within 5 days to be able to put a defense. If you're going to railroad him, just like the court in their determination, court says he does not verily believe that access to lawyers at the DSS facilities may be videoed, may be eavesdropped. So he agreed for 3 hours. That was yesterday's meeting for himself and his lawyers to meet at the judges at the court 7 specifically. But if you go to court 7, there are video cameras, opportunities to also eavesdrop. I'm not saying that his lordship was in his chamber, but what if he was in chamber? Who else was in chamber with him to eavesdrop on the discussions between Mazen Nnamdi and his lawyers?
Well, they would argue that he's getting all rather paranoid now.
No, it's not. No, if you agreed that because of electronic cameras and audio equipment and all the stuff in DSS would not be adequate for him to have concrete discussions with his lawyers in the defense of his case, and you're moving him from DSS to his court. But the court itself is also...
Yeah, but I mean, obviously the judge has more confidence in the court than the DSS facility.
Well, it's not...
So that's...
No, he moved the matter from the DSS facility to the court.
Yeah, that's what I'm
hoping that the court will be an adequate place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He obviously has more confidence
absolutely,
in the
but then the same court has the same issues as it would be at the DSS. The court is also wired electronically.
Yeah, but maybe the judge, because he's a judge in that court. I mean, I'm just speculating. Has more control and more access to that kind of material.
So what
rather
if the
than
judge?
if
What
he
is
was
the
in
judge?
So what he's practically saying is that the meeting he had in the court room, which of course is pretty much like also covered. Nobody knows who is watching or who is listening in the control room. So the effort to try to railroad Nnamdi Kanu into a 5 days defense to call 23 witnesses, right? And these 23 witnesses, it needs to confirm that the court is actually doing its best to bring them to court so that they can come and testify based on the events as they happened, that they have managed to conjure together in order to put up these trumped up charges. So one of them is Wike. Wike is the minister of the FCT. I don't think it needs any introduction. So he held his usual media chat in Abuja and a series of questions, of course, mostly about his political enemies and all that. So Maokwe from Channels then asked him that, hey, your name is mentioned among the witnesses called by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in his ongoing trial. So what's your take on that? And he categorically said, yeah, I will attend. If the court subpoena me, I'll come. So that's exactly what I want all of them to say too. Yes, we'll come. And then we can get ready for the greatest legal spectacle that will go on record as the greatest in the history of that contraption. Like one of those things you put together. So if all of them agrees, like with Wike, because to him, I'll come. You come and tell us his role in the Obibo massacre, which they have hidden for so long. So when you talk about hellfire ending in the Hague, ICC, he should actually be sharing the same cell with Wike, if you know. But yeah, he said he's going to attend. So first one has confirmed that he will attend if the court writes him. And the court has already written all of them, to my own understanding, because that's what the court said. The court said, yeah, they've written all the 23 witnesses listed by Nnamdi Kanu. What about the ones from other countries? Anyway, let's first take on that of Wike.
Kanu's case in court. There was a protest on Monday, but He was set to open his defense yesterday, and you were listed as one of his witnesses.
Compelling witness.
Alongside a number of other notable Nigerians, so former Attorney General, some governors, former governors as well, and another minister, Dave Umahi, was listed as well. I do not know if you're aware of this and why it is that you have been listed as one of the witnesses in this case.
And if you see Nnamdi Kanu, you ask him, why did he list me? I did not go to say I want to be a witness. You are the one saying that. So if you see him, ask him, why did you list Wike as one of your witnesses?
Have you not seen it?
I'm coming. I don't list. See, you don't become a witness by reading newspaper. Nobody has served me any post. Nobody has subpoenaed me. So because I saw Wike's listed, therefore, I'm going to run helter skelter. No, you don't do that. If I am served, if I'm subpoenaed to come and give witness or to give evidence, I must obey the court. I must appear. But not on pages of newspaper. Nobody does that.
Excellency.
And so as to why I should be listed, he who chooses me there, you should ask him the question. But if I am invited, if I'm supposed to come,
Kanu's
Go. So he's not going to believe that he's a witness just because his name is published in the newspapers. No wahala. So your name is not just published in the newspaper, it is published in the court report. Abi, court bulletin or something. So, and we believe that by now, Wike would have been served his own subpoena. And then a day for him to appear, I can't imagine how that's going to be. One of those that Nnamdi Kanu called to also be a witness is Hopeless Uzodimba. Just about 2 years or so ago, Hopeless Uzodimba granted an interview with Seun Okinbaloye. Consider this as a throwback video that if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu could get his hand on it, it would be very, very useful. Among all the narratives that the criminal government of Nigeria has been pushing on this matter, while they are committing systemic ethnic cleansing of the Igbos in eastern part of Nigeria, covering it up with the stories of IPOB this, IPOB that. So Nnamdi Kanu has called on some of these governors, and including former governors, their roles in this matter. There was a time that Seun Okinbaloye, as a media guy, was pushing that same narrative of IPOB this, IPOB that, including all the atrocities of the criminals, politically sponsored criminals in Imo State, especially, Olu, Osu, and other areas that some of you paid influencers of the APC and PDP continue to blame Nnamdi Kanu and hang it on IPOB. The person that will now go and take the stand, take the dock, and as a witness box, the person who's going to take the witness box, one of them is Hopeless Uzodimba, and this is what he had to say. Even when they were trying to make him say, maybe IPOB, he categorically said, no, they don't know, they are not. Watch this video.
And thanks for your patience for staying with us. So I was asking before we had that cut in our conversation, I said the Monday attack or the assault that we saw, and again on Tuesday, what have you found out, or what is the latest? Because you also understand that a number of some of the inmates have been rearrested. What more can you tell us?
What? So, the network has not been so good, but I'll try my best. What happened in Imo State last Monday is unbelievable. A group of hoodlums, of course sponsored by some known politicians in Imo State, decided to destroy public infrastructure and government facilities, and attacked the correctional center facilities, and also attacked the police state headquarters, put so many vehicles ablaze, broke the correctional facilities open, and the inmates escaped. However, as at this afternoon, over 80 of these inmates have returned back to the facility, while police and the security agencies are still fishing, identifying some and bringing them back to the facility. But what is important here for take home is for Nigerians to know of the plot by a group of aggrieved politicians to destabilize the government of APC. I have done some thorough investigation, and I have a credible lead as to those who are sponsoring these activities of these hoodlums. I don't want to preempt the other investigations by security agencies, but I can tell you we are working hard to ensure that the sponsors of this dastardly act must be brought to book.
You have confirmed to us tonight that what we have seen in Imo State in the past few days is political in nature. Is it possible that you can give us more into who these people are and perhaps maybe give us one or two of their names?
Because I don't want to preempt the ongoing investigation, but we have already credible evidence leading to those who paid the hoodlums, where they met, and how they met. And security agencies are already working with this information.
Confirm to us emphatically, you're saying that this was a direct attack on your government.
It is not only on my government. It is both on my government and federal government. Shehu, let me tell you, the situation in the country currently is that some people are trying to sponsor what I can call a synchronized national crisis to bring the government of Muhammad Buhari to disrepute. Otherwise, tell me why these things are happening at this time, particularly in Imo State, APC State, particularly in Ebonyi State, APC State. What is it? People are sponsoring these people, and some of them already caught have made confessional statements. I am going to forward my report to the central government, and I must follow up to ensure those behind these things are brought to book.
Do you subscribe, Governor, to the police preliminary investigation where they said IPOB and the MSN are responsible for the attacks?
Their tactics is that they try to identify grievances of people in a particular area. If it is Imo State and probably there are some IPOB people who are not happy, they hire hoodlums from outside Imo State. They bring them in pretending to be IPOB, and they commit this crime and they they go away. So it is not about IPOB. Yes, we agree. We have aggrieved IPOB members, but I can tell you, those who are doing this destruction, most of them were brought from outside Imo State.
So, if you say that they are really not IPOB members, another insinuation that a few commentators have put into this is perhaps the military operations that we saw in the past few days, which of course you also commented about. Is there any link between that military operations and what we saw in the last few days?
As I speak to you.
And thanks for your patience.
I just thought you should hear that. Because most of the time when I come here, some of you think Maiyegun is an IPOB apologist. A lot of you have no idea how much Nigeria commissioned. Before these things gets to this level, you have no idea how much Bokwari's government commissioned, right? Paid people to push the narrative of these IPOB that, so that they can use that to justify the military invasion of Eastern Nigeria. The criminal governors of Eastern Nigeria, they were more interested in control, hoping that, because to them, the level at which Nnamdi Kanu was going with the IPOB, if for any reason it should just decide to go political along that, they are finished. Do you understand? So Nnamdi Kanu had to be cut to size. And anyone and everything that they could use, they are up for it. They didn't mind that these guys they are going to militarize their region, and at the same time use the cover of, like Bokwari wanted to use the cover of, I am trying to keep Nigeria together. These people wanted to cause another war. He wanted to use that cover to continue his killing in eastern part of Nigeria. While the Igbo governors themselves, who have their own political differences along that, decided to also hide behind the IPOB this, IPOB that, ESN this, ESN that, with all their media group pushing it. They were hiding behind that when they used their politically sponsored people they bought guns for. Okay, people they gave they are the ones who harmed them, right? So when they commit all this, their political killings, courtism, and the rest of that they are politically sponsored, the media will just report it as IPOB. Oh, yesterday 3 IPOB members were arrested. Question them. They have nothing to do with IPOB. But the media have been pushing that for so long that you would think it's only in Nigeria. They went to Washington, D.C. Baba, that was when I kind of have to give kind of like respect to those of you who are the leadership of the IPOB, especially in the, in this turbulent time, last 10 years. You know what happened? Bokwari's government went to Washington, D.C. They were paying lobbyists. You know what that means in America, lobbyists? Yeah? There are people who actually go and talk to lawmakers, congressmen, senators, to push something and say, they will pay them all. Bokwari paid lobbyists in America to push that IPOB should be proscribed. It's a terrorist organization. America did their own checks. And they were like, no, they are not terrorist organization. They do not fit into any description of any kind of description of terrorism. So that failed. That's just so you know that this whole thing that you are seeing that is being unleashed on Nigeria, exposed by Nnamdi Kanu years back, rattled the likes of Bokwari and those who use this government to push their agenda in all over Nigeria, not just in the eastern part of Nigeria. But in truth, since everybody will agree that it's IPOB, it is ESN, Nnamdi Kanu, that kind of like buried the normal way, the neutral way that security officials should look at things. Okay, Nnamdi Kanu has microphone, camera, laptop, and then what do you call it? So if Nnamdi Kanu and his flags and all of that, and his followers who are waving their flags, singing, and all of that, right? Not harming anybody, not hurting anybody. And even within that group, you realize that, wait, we have noticed that some people are trying to infiltrate this group. And in that case, right, we will go after them once we realize that they are doing something illegal, right? That's the job of the security, investigation. But what do you do if the people who are supposed to stop the infiltration of a noble cause are the ones who are actually working to infiltrate it, doing everything to infiltrate it, because for an agenda? So this is going to be the time for them to come back and possibly give evidence of most of the things they've used the media to say. Because what happened is completely different from what the media continue to tell you. And it is about time to find out. It is about time. Let's go back to Wike. You see, PDP, they are going to have their convention next month, in the next, about 2 weeks. Now, their convention is to try to come back from this, this ruin that the crisis they are in. And I'm not going to really go into too much details because I know some of you probably should be aware, right? But the update is that yesterday, some northern governors, including the ones that are still going to go and join the APC before the end of this year. So they attended the party, right, where they are the consensus candidates. They said his name is Tanemu Abitaminu Turaki. He will be the consensus candidate from the north, as it is agreed that the chairmanship of PDP should be zoned to the north. So therefore, they were the ones who agreed, not Wike. So they have picked a consensus candidate that will then go to Ibadan